Now to the other big ruling that we got this morning, handed down. This is the ruling on free speech case involving a familiar challenge here. The question whether businesses can refuse service to LGBTQ customers because doing so would violate the business owner's First Amendment rights. This was a 6-3 decision. The Supreme Court rules for a Christian web designer who objected to making wedding websites for same-sex couples. And we're going to go back to Devin Dwyer on this one because, Devin, we've seen cases like this before the court, but this one much more sweeping and broad.
A significant and sweeping decision, Whit, and surprising many of us who have covered the court on this issue from some time. You know, the First Amendment prohibits the government from forcing any of us from saying anything we don't want to say. At the same time, civil rights laws in this country say that businesses that are open to the public have to serve everybody. But what the court said today is that businesses in some cases can refuse to serve certain customers if doing so would force them to say something they don't want to say, like a business who designs websites, a stationer, maybe even someone who is landscaping your yard. If that is an expressive, customized, and tailored service, Neil Gorsuch said that the government cannot force you to do that business with someone that you don't want to do business with or something you don't want to say. Justice Sonia Sotomayor, who was in the dissent with the three liberal justices, said this is the first time in history, in her words, that the Supreme Court has granted a right to businesses open to the public to refuse to serve a member of a protected class. She says this decision threatens to balkanize the marketplace and even, Whit, in her view, could allow some businesses to refuse to serve, say, interracial couples simply because if doing so would force the business owner to say something they didn't want to say. So a striking and sweeping opinion. Justice Neil Gorsuch didn't articulate the limiting principle, if you will, for this this decision. And so it's certainly going to invite much more litigation down the line.
Devin, and as you mentioned, the lack of limits as they're spelled out or not spelled out here raises a lot of questions going forward. It is worth noting that, again, what Sotomayor said in her dissent, she says, in her view, this allows a web designer to refuse to serve interracial couples if such a designer opposed interracial marriage. So, again, raising a lot of questions here going forward. Let's bring back Kate Shaw. And, Kate, legally, what does this mean for businesses and customers?
You know, this really is, I think, an enormous change. Justice Sotomayor, I think, is quite right in her dissent. You know, these public accommodation laws have a lengthy historical pedigree. They've been part of our federal laws for over 70 years. And in most states and localities, there are similar laws. And they just say that if you're a business and you provide goods or services to the public, you can't discriminate. And in recent years, discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation and sometimes gender identity has also been prohibited in many places, including in Colorado. And until now, the Supreme Court has never said that one of those laws violates the First Amendment rights of a business or business owner who wishes to refuse service to some category of customers. So I do think that Devin is exactly right that this case has potentially sweeping ramifications for the ability of business owners under some circumstances to provide services and to the ability of customers, I should say, to receive services on a non-discriminatory basis, you know, in the public square. And it's not something that the Supreme Court has ever blessed. As long as we've had public accommodation laws, there have been objections, sometimes religiously grounded objections, and the court has never sided with those, has always upheld these laws. And so this is a very significant and I think very new rule the court has set forth today.
All right, Kate, thank you. I want to bring back Mary Bruce here because, Mary, now we have two losses as they could be perceived for President Biden. Only so much he can do, but again, a message that he would take to the voters.
Exactly, and we haven't heard yet from the president in response to this case. I suspect he will speak out forcefully against this. Of course, Joe Biden is someone who has spoken passionately about how everyone deserves to be treated equally with dignity and respect, no matter who you love. His administration has already passed new federal protections for same-sex couples, the Respect for Marriage Act. And of course, this is Joe Biden, someone who led a real national political transformation on the issue of same-sex marriage, coming out in 2012, surprising many with his support for same-sex marriage. That was a watershed moment in this country, as you recall, then forcing then President Obama to come out and do the same. But again, this is an issue where this administration, the Biden campaign, is going to hope to mobilize voters, drive them to the polls next November.
Mary, thank you. Let's bring back Terry Moran here because, Terry, we had affirmative action yesterday. We have these cases today. This is another defining moment for the Supreme Court and its conservative majority.
It sure is. And you see how much elections matter, right? Since these three justices appointed by Donald Trump have taken the bench. You've seen how fast and far the court can go. Abortion rights, gone. Affirmative action, gone. Today, a traditional understanding of public accommodation, that if you hold out your business as a public business open to all, you must serve all. The court limiting that today on the basis of free speech rights, and there's more to come. This is clearly a Supreme Court with the bit between its teeth, with the conservative majority not just in charge, but really eager to reach out and accomplish goals the conservative movement has had for decades. We're seeing the impact in law and in life in this country, and they aren't done yet by a long shot.
Two more major decisions at the Supreme Court. Terry Moran, thank you, and our entire team of contributors here. Of course, our coverage continues on ABC News Live and abcnews.com. I'll be right back here with the entire team for World News Tonight. For now, I'm Whit Johnson in New York. Have a great day.
This has been a special report from ABC News.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.